Welcome to our panel, Harnessing Retrieval-Augmented Generation to Improve Contextual Understanding of Large Language Models. First, I'll start with a disclaimer. The panelists' commentary does not reflect the views or opinions of their respective organizations. And having this out of our way, then I'll just kick us off with the introductions. My name is Andreea Popescu. I am the Senior Director of Data Science at Shipt. For those who might not know, Shipt is a retail tech company that connects customers with a reliable, high-quality shopping and delivery service with their trusted brands. Our parent company is Target, and we share the focus on offering an exceptional customer experience. We create personalized shopping experiences for our customers while also offering flexible earning potentials for our shoppers and drivers. My team specifically focuses on operations at Shipt, empowering the last mile logistics platform, retail tech, and gig worker platform. I have a PhD in operations research from Georgia Tech. Fellow Georgia Tech, yahoo! And I've been in the AI field for the past few decades. I'm super excited to have the privilege to facilitate this conversation with my fellow panelists. Youngjun?
Yeah. As you may know, my PhD is from aerospace. But first, let's do informal market research here, okay? Let me ask one question. How many of you use UPS? Almost. So after this panel discussion, I want to see 100%. Okay? So UPS daily delivering 20 to 25 million packages. Okay? UPS is deploying tomorrow's technology today. In other words, UPS is deploying AI, Gen AI with RAG today, deploying today. To elevate customer experience, make UPSers more productive, and third, greening our network. Okay? My name is Youngjun Choi. I'm a director of advanced AI and robotics. My purpose at UPS is to transform our delivery network with AI, machine learning, and robotics. I have 15 years working experience. I was a research faculty at Georgia Tech Aerospace, and I developed the ground robotics, aerial robotics, and military satellites.
Great. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ken Viciana. I'm the VP of Global Data and Analytics Products at a company called TSYS. We're actually a business unit of Global Payments is our parent company. We're one of the largest credit card processing companies in the world. My role specifically is focused on data monetization. So within my remit, I have a data science team who's building a lot of predictive capabilities that we're selling back to the banks. It's a B2B model. And in essence, we're sitting on all this rich transactional data, and we're looking for ways to analyze it, generate insights, package it, and sell it back to the clients we have. So looking forward to the conversation today on RAG.
Thank you. So let's start by just setting the stage of what is RAGs and why they are useful.
So, RAG help us improving confidence intervals about answers using external data. Right? It means that, like when you use ChatGPT or Gemini, right? Sometimes we are struggling because we cannot get the answers, right? Because the trained model, right? They are not using up-to-date data, right? That's first reason. And the second reason is that data uncertainties, because basically they are pulling data from everywhere, right? Because of that, we have like hallucination impact, right? So now RAG comes in. Now we can use external data it means that we can call like table data or graph data or document, right? And then we can apply like embedding technique, and then we can create the vectorized database, right? And then users interact with the large language models, and then using the similarity measures, and then we can get the right answers. This is RAG framework, right? So here, basically, RAG allow us to have high confidence answers using external data.
Yeah, very good answer. I mean, just kind of piggybacking on that a bit, but adding a slightly different flavor. I mean, you have to have good, rich data to basically feed into the models to get good outputs, right? Data is the foundation for all of this. So RAG really enables you to pull in rich external data sets, and in essence, it helps you build more context in your model, which in turn is going to end up providing better outcomes and trust. I think trust is really the big thing here. How often have you gone into ChatGPT or one of these apps and asked a question, and the result you got, you kind of looked at it like, what is this? This doesn't make sense, right? And it's the data that the model's using. So any way we can bring in good, rich data, current data is another kind of down point for these things. Like you need, current data to really get good answers in a timely manner. So.
Yeah. I think that's so. There are two things I think that you guys mentioned. One is data sources, right? Large language models, you don't really have a reference of the data sources. With RAGs, you do. And second is the current data. So large language models are static in their training. The data might be outdated. RAGs enable this real-time, more accurate information. Recent, let's put it this way. Speaking of ChatGPT, I just wanted to mention that. So there are ways of using ChatGPT, and one way that I'm using it is write a prompt, a question, and then give as much information to answer the question as possible, right, in the prompt itself. So my prompts are like pages. That's pretty much like a very small kind of way of thinking about RAGs, because they have the prompt from the user, and then they retrieve the right context to answer these questions and limit the errors. So very exciting, very needed. So from this perspective, do you have a way, any thoughts on how scalable it is, and what is the practicality of applications for RAGs? In the scalability piece, meaning how do you see them scale in your organization or outside your organization?
Yeah, I think RAGs do help you scale your models. You can go out to different external data sources, kind of set these up, and a lot of the heavy lifting is done on those external data sources. So it does provide some efficiencies in your models. I mean, your model's not having to do all the heavy lifting. So I think from a efficiency kind of delivery standpoint, RAGs certainly help you kind of scale.
And so these RAGs are like a little bit of a governance piece on top of the large language models, right?
Right.
Do you see applications that need also a user interface? Yeah, or you just use the RAGs output into other applications, or both? Do you have any thoughts on that?
So there are many applications. Yeah. So I can talk about two main applications. One is more near term, the other one is more longer term. Okay. Near term, customer facing, right? Customer interactions. You may heard about 100 times about customer facing Gen AI product, right? So UPS at any given time, we have 800 million to 900 million requests at the UPS.com. UPS already deployed Gen AI product. Gen AI product we call the Mira, message response automations. It means that using this product, we can improve our UPSers' productivities. Okay. And the second thing is longer applications. it means that digital twin enabled operation copilot. I know it's not intuitive. Let me walk through, okay? So digital twin, how many of you know about digital twins? Yeah, it's very hard, right? So digital twin definition is creating the digital replica of entire systems. So UPS definitions, creating the digital replica of end-to-end delivery network. That's UPS digital twins. See, I can give an example. Let's say I have a physical packages here, right? And then I can create the virtual representations in the virtual world. If I have a simulation environment, I can clearly understanding about the package flow in the virtual world. Then you have a digital twins. But reality is different. If you think about UPS network, it's massive, complex, many moving parts, right? Let me give examples. UPS daily, 20 to 25 million packages across 220 countries we are delivering. Okay? And then we have 100,000 ground assets. We are operating 600 aircraft. We have 1,800 buildings. Think about scales, how we can create these digital twins, right? Now, our UPS is digitizing all those moving parts in the virtual world to create the virtual simulations. Okay, why this is important? Because we want to make a decision digitally and then take the action physically. In this way, we can provide a seamless omnichannel experience to our customers. Okay? Then why digital twin is important? Because we can do various what-if scenarios using virtual simulations. Think about yesterday, Hurricane Florida. It's insane. In our UPS operation perspective, we need to figure out how we can reconfigure our network, right? It means that we need to give digital twin tools to operators, and operators need to figure out configurations. But here is the problem, right? They need to digest all the weather information and all the trailer information. They need to define the input configurations, and then they can run the simulation, and then they can get the result. They need to digest all different outputs, right? Now I can see operation copilot comes in. They can use the RAG, they can digest the data, they can reconfigure input files for simulations, they can automatically run the simulation using the function calls, right? And then we can get the result, and the Gen AI populate all those visualizations. In this way, our operator will have accurate data, and then they can have better decisions for their daily operations, right? I gave 2 examples. The first one is near-term customer facing, which is good. We heard many, many times. Second one is operation copilot, right? To improve our daily operations.
That's fantastic. So, so you have the digital twin in the middle, and then RAGs and Gen AI to prepare the data and also make sense out of the output. That's a very interesting application. On the customer facing, you were mentioning the Mira.
Yeah, Mira. Yeah.
Mira. So let's go back a little to these applications in general. I get you are very excited about the digital twin, but what other applications are you guys like really excited about?
So, I mean, being at this conference and hearing a lot of the presenters already, I love the applications in the healthcare space, obviously. It's outside of my world, but you know, when you think about how this disruptive technology can help save lives, I think that really resonates with everybody in the room, right? That's a huge win for all of us. You know, from my current seat and kind of my role, I'm really excited about capabilities to really provide that personalized experience, right? Really better understanding our customer base so we can offer targeted products and be very specific with offers that we make. Think about marketing offers. So that's one area that definitely I'm excited about personally.
The customer experience. So yes, definitely everything that goes out and impacts our customers, our operations, super exciting. And I know there is a less exciting facet of applications, but as important, I would say, which is the internal facing employees enhancement
Yeah,
Do you
I'd
have any
say
thoughts on that?
That's where, I mean, we kind of started and dug in on a lot of the internal applications, thinking about documentation management. Call center is a good area. It kind of spans across industries, right? Most companies have a call center. But I think, you know, if you can prove things out on these internal applications, you get organizational trust, you get buy-in, you get more comfortable in the technology before you go deploy it externally. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can piggyback personalization. So personalization, right? There is two types of customers, right? So any given day, UPS, we have 1.6 million pickup deliveries, okay, pickup customers. And then we have daily like 10 million delivery customers, okay? Internally, we have 500,000 UPSers, 500,000 UPS internal customers, okay? So here, personalization, I really want to focus on internal perspective because it's unique. Also, not many people think about it. So especially, I want to talk about building personalization. UPS, I mentioned that we have 1,800 buildings, hub centers, each building, small, medium, large. Characteristics are different. It means that demand, package flow, layout is different, right? So one thing we can leverage Gen AI is using the data, we can personalize building characteristics, and then we can help operational plannings for our internal users, which is 500,000 UPSers, right? This is really important because if you go like hub and centers, the operators, they spend a lot of time digesting data, right? Basically, Gen AI RAG can simplify all those processes, right? I think this is a really good internal use cases, right? Building personalization, I really want to emphasize.
Yes, supply chain is ripe for it, right? I mean, I think you can provide a ton of value in your space with RAG.
Yeah, definitely. And along those lines, Target, our parent company, has just deployed a store companion to enable new employees kind of ramp up the knowledge by using, having access to processes, information, and customer answers quickly in the store. I think that's one of the proven use cases in the industry. The internal faces and call centers are exactly that, right? Empowering the people to have the right answers, to have the background to answer, to personalize their answers to the customers. I'm gonna pick on on our competitor, Instacart, a little bit. Speaking of personalization, they deployed, and I think it's image rather than text, which is a little bit of a bigger hurdle to overcome when you deploy large language models in the image piece. But they just deployed recipes with images generated by AI, and some of these images had a really negative review because they just don't have anything to do with reality. Chicken baked with some kind of feathers on them and stuff like that. So I do want to talk a little bit about how do you see the limitations and how do we mitigate these risks, especially in the customer-facing process, if you have any thoughts.
I can go first. So there are many challenges, right? Limitations we all know, right? Here I want to emphasize three things. I'm going to call R squared S, okay? Responsible, reliable, scalable, okay? So let's talk about first one, right? Is it responsible? It's more like ethical issues, right? It means that we don't want to give misinformed information, unethical information to our customers, right? So it means that all those enterprise companies who is building the AI solutions, they need to build a very solid AI governance. That's the first thing. Okay. Second one is it reliable? It means that it has high confidence interval, right? This is very important because you just mentioned about external customers, right? When you give the information to external customers, confidence level is very important, right? It means that when we provide the information, we always need human in the loop. So earlier, like keynote speech, Amber mentioned about human in the loop, right? That's right. We need to have a very solid human in the loop so that we can do the fact check. Okay. Third one is scalable. We just talked about scalabilities, right? As your database grow, RAG will be struggling because you need to figure out how we can provide real-time answers. But your database is growing. What's your strategy to solve these ones, right? We have a different database, right? A table, typical our database. We have a document, right? And then we have knowledge graph database, right? How we can build the right strategy. We can use hybrid, right? But the solution should be feasible so that we can overcome those kind of database issues, right? So again, I scared S, right? Responsible, reliable, and then scalable.
Yeah, I mean, I think limitations, I think RAG helps. I mean, it's a necessary tool in the tool belt to provide better data with more context, which in turn provides more trust, right? I don't view RAG as a limitation. I think the limitations are at a higher level, really. There's still ethics, bias. People still kind of view models as a black box. They're getting these insights, but can they really trust what they're getting, right? And I think it's still early in that conversation.
I agree, and that's on the output side. There is a piece of responsibility in the input side, I think, to your point. So we are governing the output, but we have to start with the data. And I'm very happy to have heard this over and over again, but do you have any thoughts there on data governance and how it plays a role into your responsible development?
I strongly believe data is your foundation. Without good data, it's hard to build the right AI model, right? So, like I'm leading the UPS digital twin project, right? Everything is based on the data. Data can translate your physical movement to a digital world, right? Because I'm working on a lot of data pre-processing and then how we can be the right data source, right? Also, pitching the data project, it's extremely challenging because you need to connect to business case, but it's not one-to-one relationship. It means hard to pitch to organizations, right? It means that if you are as a leader in the data space, right, or AI, Gen AI space, you need to figure out how you can pitch the project with a solid business case. That's the key.
Yeah, data governance is a huge enabler of all of this innovation. We've been trying to answer these difficult questions for a long time, right? This isn't new, but now we've got disruptive technology that it's helping us get to these answers faster, right? There's a scale component of it. It's helping us really move faster overall, right? I mean, when we had these types of questions, we'd have an army of teams running queries, trying to answer these questions. Now we've got technology that's, really, really rapidly generating those outputs. But, data quality is another area that's really important here. We talk about governance, but data is the foundation of everything. And if the quality of your data is in question, the phrase used for many years is garbage in, garbage out, and Gen AI doesn't change that. So you definitely want to make sure you have resources that are focused on quality and governance.
Just to go there for a little bit more, so we have the data, we have the model, we have the output, we have to govern all stages. And one piece here is also how do we enable best practices at all levels, as well as how do we cross-collaborate and bring the entire enterprise together in this journey. So the data is the result of a process. However, the data needs to be somehow domain rich, and how do you see this cross collaboration between data scientists, engineers, domain experts? What role do they play in all this, responsible governance and making sure we have the right answers?
Yeah, so I think org structures are changing around this. Data governance has been around a long time. Companies have model governance functions that's been around, but now AI governance is becoming more of the buzz. So I think you really need to see these functions come together because there's overlaps, but there are differences as well. But not having all of these groups separate, I'm saying you need kind of data governance, AI governance, model governance, all that really needs to come together, I feel like.
So I really emphasize the working backward, right? Jeff Bezos, right? He highlights working backward, right? We always start from the backward. I mean, we need to go customers. We need to figure out what business problem we need to solve. I mean, the domain owners, business owners, they need to figure out what problem is meaningful. That impact on our customer NPS scores is save our organizations, right? The monies, right? And then we can go data science. It means that data science, I'm assuming the definition of data science is AI builder, Gen AI reg builders, okay? So they need to clearly understanding about current technology status. It means that technology readiness level, in the where our data status is, where our technology readiness is. And then based on that one, they need to define the technology is feasible or not. So they need to be feasibility checker, okay? And then we can go engineers. Engineer here, my definition is creating the infrastructures and then implementing that solution so that we can have a real product, right? It means the engineers' focus is creating the robust infrastructures so that we can serve our daily customers. That's the first thing. And the secondly, we need to have kind of real-time process timelines. Real-time process pipelines with cost-effective solutions, right? So again, we need to work in backward, right? Domain owners define the business problem. Data engineers, they need to figure out feasibilities, checkers, right? The last one is robust, cost-effective solutions, engineers.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I think even if you think about the data itself, how do you collect the data? You have to tie it into what do you want to do with it. Just data for data's sake is not going to bring value or monetization opportunities if it's not really tied into your business and strategy. And then the models come the other. So you have the data tied into the strategy, and then the strategy trickled down through the business use case model and use of the data and monetization. So from this perspective, I want to mention something that I heard yesterday, and I think everyone else is facing. I think it's the first time I haven't been here for the blockchain hype. I'm here for the Gen AI hype. But it's the first time in my career, at least, that the ask to use Gen AI comes top down. We have to use it. So do you have any thoughts about how do you balance the top-down need of making sure the company is not left behind and the business use case development and actually real impact? Any thoughts you want to share on this one?
Yeah, it's interesting because public companies, when they're giving their quarterly reports, their earnings reports, I mean they're bringing this up, right? And they want, all these companies want to have a Gen AI play or angle that they kind of hype up. I think the thing that's important in my advice is start small, right? Show value. It's not a one size fits all. Like you can't use Gen AI to solve every problem that you have, right? But you can get a lot of efficiencies and generate a lot of corporate value from Gen AI. So focus on specific applications and use cases. Prove value in your program. You'll get more support and buy-in, continue to grow. But it's not going to solve every problem we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think my perspective is, of course, there is a hype, right? Organization has sometimes have directions about emerging technologies, right? So, my case, I try to use that kind of directions because if you are thinking about your team leaders, my team, we have AI scientists, machine learning scientists, robotics engineers, right? They want to explore new type of solutions. It's really a good opportunity. You can provide very complex problems to your team members. They'll be very motivated, and also they're gonna try to show the values to the organizations, right? But I totally agree. We should be balanced, right? I mean, that we need to figure out how we can continuously support our operations, and plus, we need to figure out how we can have extra opportunities for exploring new opportunities.
Yeah,
Right.
your theme there, I mean, innovation, people want to be working in this space.
Yeah.
It's exciting, right? We're solving important problems. We're really generating corporate value. We're using new technologies and learning, and that's the kind of environment where people can really kind of dig in and learn and grow, and it benefits them and it benefits the company they work for.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, in terms of like having the right business use case and starting small, how do you navigate that with the speed to show value? Going back to the executives, kind of just handling expectations on how fast can you get out and what are the risks of going out too fast. And I'm not going to mention Instacart again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thought I have is it's a fail fast kind of mindset, right? So we kind of identified all of these use cases, ranked them based on different criteria, but really around the value prop and level of effort. But we want to get in there and get out, right? Get in and kind of, so POCs. I mean, we have a handful of POCs going at any given time. And that's just how we've kind of approached it.
So my strategy here is, I'm more R&D, early stage R&D, right? Figuring out what is the next 3-5 years for UPS delivery network, right? It means that there's a lot of uncertainties, and I'm building like technology roadmaps for UPS, especially like digital twin and AI field, right? So my strategy is based on the roadmaps, right? And they try to provide a clear short-term path, because all our R&D is vague. We have a lot of ambiguous, right? As a leader, as a project manager, our job is providing clear path in the next 6 months. What is my sprint? What I am solving? What we are delivering? And based on the deliverables, what's the values? We need to show clear path to the organizations. In this way, they'll be convinced they're gonna fully support.
Piggybacking just on another question, I'm curious, how do you prioritize these use cases versus other AI, ML, decision support? How do you have to prioritize, and how do you prioritize those?
I think it depends on your business and kind of what's, what critical data you're really trying to leverage and drive value from. I mentioned before, and I think most companies kind of dip their toes in the water with internal applications. I think everybody started with like documentation and, translating code to different languages, things that, needs to be done, but it's not moving the needle necessarily. But I think there are some of those high value use cases in an organization. I mentioned the personalization one is kind of a key one for us. In supply chain, you've got a ton of work to do. So yeah.
So my strategy is again working backward, right? My customer UPS, right? So we need to listen our organization strategy, what direction is. UPS, we have a North Star, network future, right? There is multiple objective. Consolidating the volumes to make an efficient network, okay? Second one is applying the robotics and automation. Third one is digital twins to make an efficient network. Fourth one is generative AI, okay? So based on those organization directions, I need to prioritize the project. Of course, each project need to have a clear business case, and then based on the business case, I need to rank them. That's my strategy.
It's interesting. Where I was going with the question also is you mentioned healthcare as one of the exciting areas. I would say legal services, super exciting because of the potential knowledge summarization and starting not from scratch. But these are having huge implication in society. And in these industries that are highly regulated, there are counselors or steering committees or some kind of entity at the top of the enterprise that actually, I was yesterday in a panel and I was listening in and on this council that is cross enterprise. It has various points of view, and they actually have to approve a proof of concept, then review with their own, kind of lens of bias, fairness, hallucinations, whatever you want to call them, the proof of concept, the proposal, and then monitor in production. And it's interesting to me that we are saying, yes, the regulated industries should have that. But from my perspective, in the industry that I am in, gig work industry, it's not regulated that well, but it's highly scrutinized. So we don't really have a legal component there to be afraid of, but it's a reputation risk that might break you, right? So I was curious in your industries if you have that kind of overarching entity that protects the reputation of your company or organization and helps with the prioritization of Gen AI versus other projects. But I can say that we are starting that in our organization. It's a bit of a balancing act because you have to be fast to the market, and then you have to be responsibly fast to the market. And these are competitive, a little bit of competitive objectives, and you have to balance it, right? Innovation, but innovation in the to improve not only the business but society at large. So from this perspective, wanted to then touch to the sustainability piece a little bit. So as we all know, since the transformers are around only 7 years back, by the way, 2017, we know that just training one transformer has the same emission footprint, carbon footprint, as 5 cars entire life span, from the manufacturing up to gas and everything. So it's a huge, if you think about it, it's just one training. It's a huge burden on the environment, and I would like to hear any thoughts you might have on how you balance innovation and protecting our planet.
Yeah, UPS, we love our world, right? So we are committing sustainability. We have a very aggressive sustainability goal by 2050, right? If I think about Gen AI in terms of sustainable space, right? I mentioned about operation co-pilot, right? What's the main objective, right? It means that we can make an efficient network. We are helping operators, right? Then the outcome will be you can reduce the miles, trailer movement. They can impact sustainability. That's a really good equations, right? Gen AI equal to sustainability impact.
Yeah, that's something that we have to pay attention to, I guess, as responsible developers for now. I would like to maybe hear any thoughts from this sustainability and data centers and so on. How important do you think should become this lens of incorporating the cost of sustainability into the ROI when we develop the benefit for the industries? Any thoughts?
That's interesting. I could see that happening. I mean, I don't think that's common in how we're kind of measuring today, but it in theory could be an input into kind of the ROI equation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I was thinking, I'm using Google, and now we have this AI assistant in Google that you do a search and you have everything summarized. I always click the links, though, and then read myself whatever is there. And when you think about the impact on environment for that summarization, that might or might not be useful, TBD, as opposed to, as you said, healthcare, we might have a different kind of perspective from the benefit to the society. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I wanted to just end the discussion with maybe a lightning round. If you have one sentence to spare, what is the biggest advantage of using RAG to enhance AI's contextual understanding and decision making?
So my phrase for RAG is, better data, more data isn't always great, but I'd say better data, more context, the ability to scale is going to lead to better outcomes overall.
One sentence. It allows to make UPSers more productive.
I like it.
That's fantastic. I do think RAGs bring context in focus and the most recent information. So they do handle the accuracy. Now we have to tackle the decision-making piece, the reasoning of LLMs that is still TBD. But, parting thoughts, be responsible on your development. Everything comes with the cost. Technology has agency, as you can tell with all the iPhones. Look at the society now as opposed to 20 years ago. That's technology. It changes our behavior. It has an impact on the planet. Be responsible, be innovative, and enjoy. Thank you very much. Thank you.